Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Noodle Doodle. I am your host, Lazaro Gomez, and today, oh man, today, today I woke up so I have this routine, right? When I get up in the morning, especially on the weekends. Like I'm a big fan of, uh, I like sunsets. I like just the idea, all right, the day's ending, you're kind of cooling down, maybe having a drink or something like that, and just watching the sunset. But I'm a huge fan of sunrises. So I love to watch the sunrise. And a lot of the times, just due to my work schedule and stuff like that, I tend to wake up early. Even on the weekends, I wake up early. So part of that routine, I get up. The first thing I do is open the window that's next to my bed, and I kind of look outside, and I get to see just all the birds going around and stuff like that, and the sun rising. And today it was so foggy, it kind of felt like I it felt like I woke up in Silent Hill. So yeah, I was like, whoa, man, it's crazy, and it's a little bit fitting because I am playing Alien Isolation on the PS4, and of course I'm running and hiding and doing all these different little missions and stuff like that. And I play it so much that the controller dies, and I have to charge the controller again. So that's charging. But anyways, I digress. It was a weird morning. I brewed my coffee, which is sitting right here on the desk, and got the handy dandy prompt book. And we're gonna do like we always do every episode of Noodle Doodle. Just kind of hang out, relax a little. I still don't know, when you guys watch this on YouTube or listen to it. But I do record these Sunday morning. I know it's a big don't tell anybody when you're recording because it'll sound awkward, but yeah, I'm pretty transparent when it comes to doing stuff online. There's no bells or whistles. But yeah, I wake up Sunday morning, and I do my podcast. So if you're listening on my website or anywhere, I hope you enjoy this episode of Noodle Doodle. If you're new to Noodle Doodle, I do this every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. We got a late start today because I was discussing some things with my wife, and I didn't want to. It was funny. I didn't want to wake her up, so I wait till she wakes up. Then I do the podcast. But today it was funny because she didn't want to bother me because she thought I was doing Noodle Doodle, and I didn't want to bother her because I thought she was sleeping. So of course, we got up. We started talking about things that we have to do today, and I got a bit of a late start on this week's episode. So I randomly opened up my book, and we have Mad Hatter, we have Dollar Bill, and look at that, on the Super Bowl weekend. One of the prompts is football. As always, I have a few topics that I want to discuss, and I like to talk about things that relate to life and my art channel and whatnot. So I was going to talk about communication because something interesting happened that I thought was worth bringing up and being a life lesson. You know how we do life lessons here at Noodle Doodle. But I think I'm going to save that one for production or pipeline, let's say. So I'm the type of artist that I create a lot of content. Whether it be artwork or videos or whatever the case may be. And it always happens the same way. It's like, dude, how do you have all this time? How do you make time for everything? How do you do this? How do you do that? Do you even sleep? Are you a robot? When are you going to take a break? You need to take a break. all of those things come up like every time I speak to somebody about this sort of stuff, right? Football. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. That is how you squirrel yourself on your own show. But yeah, going back to that, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about time management and how that fits into quote unquote the pipeline. You hear all these little buzzwords all the time, pipeline, deadline, workflow, time management, and all of these different things. And I figured, well, it'd be perfect to talk about it on Noodle Doodle, so that's what we're going to talk about today. And again, if you're new here and this is the first time you're watching, this is what we do. So basically, pick a topic, open up my prompt book, pick one, and draw while I talk, while I enjoy my coffee or whatever the case may be. But yeah, so production. Going back to what so many people say, like, how do you do this? How do you do that? Just recently, here on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, if you're watching here on YouTube, I started this new thing where I have a webcam. I have two webcams. I have two Logitech, I think they're 920s, C920s, whatever they are. But I put one on my studio, just to kind of, it doesn't have any audio, doesn't have anything. It's just like a live feed, if you would, of me working in my studio. And it was kind of experimental. I just kind of like, let's see what happens. And interesting enough, people have been tuning into that. And I don't know why that is, but I think it has a lot to do with ASMR or new trends that are happening. I do watch a lot of videos on YouTube of things that are interesting to me. So there's one channel I follow where they do a lot of leather work, making purses and belts and different kinds of thing out of leather. And the particular gentleman that runs that channel, he doesn't say much. He does his work. He'll explain a few things here and there. He'll answer questions, and basically give tips as to where you could buy certain things and all that good stuff. So I watch that. I watch restoration, like tool restorations. There's another gentleman that I think he's based out of England. I'm not too sure. But he'll buy these rusted tools. It could be a scale, it could be an anvil, it could be what do you call that? A table clamp or anything like that. But it's all rusted and nasty. And then he'll polish it up. He'll remove the surface rust, and he'll paint them, and they look brand new when they're done. And I'm assuming he finds these things at yard sales and stuff like that, restores them, and then sells them to either collectors or people that would like to buy them. The coffee is warm today. It's actually hot. So I watch that, and I can kind of see why people are tuning into mine. It's a lot of that. It's like, cool, you're showing us an inside as to what you do, and then the videos are always different. It could be something. It could be just my 3D printer going, or it could be a multitude of things because I have different projects in different stages. And of course, that led me to what we're talking about today, the production. So usually I have on my phone, I have my calendar, and on that calendar I have all the different appointments and different commissions and stuff like that. So everything is well planned out, and everything is well planned out. And then as new commissions come in, then I would add it to the calendar and see where it fits and all that good stuff. And that right there is the very first step. The very first step of production and planning and time management and all of that stuff. So for me, I tend to be busy all year round, honestly. All year round. It could be a character design for somebody. It could be a custom pop for somebody. It could be a 3D print for someone. A prop that I'm working on. You know, somebody wants to work on a particular prop or something. And you know, always working on different kinds of projects. And the very first thing you got to think about is where's all that going to fit. So if you're a new artist, you will make the mistake of overbooking or mishandling your time. So what used to happen to me is I would have 8 or 9 commissions crammed into 1 month, you know, and then have nothing for 4 months, and then again another 8, you know, and this and that and so on and so forth. So that used to happen all the time until I got smart and I'm like, when do you need this by? Oh, I need it by April. Okay, so I could push this one back and put this one here and move this one up and do this and that. And then I started thinking about, you know, my time, how much time I have, how much time each project takes, and then deliver it and never miss a deadline. So I'm the type of person that I don't miss deadlines. I just don't. I'm either ahead of it or I'm right on it, but I never, you know, I've been fortunate enough to never have to miss a deadline. So that is part of it. So it's time management. It is, you know, planning, all of that stuff. So I know you would, you know, you're sitting there like, well, yeah, that's the way it goes. But quite honestly, people forget that. You know, people forget that, and it's like, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? So everything has a way of being that is unique to whatever it is you want to do. So I can tell you pretty much that when I do my pops and stuff like that, a standard pop can be about a week, 2 weeks worth of work. And you know, once you know that, once you have that established, you can work from there, right? You can work from there. You can figure out what needs to happen. So for me, it's very well organized. I'm a creature of habit. I do the same things. I'm very ritualistic, right? I do the same things over and over and over when they work. When something doesn't work, I figure out a new method and then go from there. So so yeah, it's, you know, step 1, what kind of materials you're going to use. Step 2, you know, how long is it going to take, this and that, whatever. So let's pick, for instance, if I was to do a logo design. So I would get all the information first, you know, the client, what they're looking for, what kind of business it is, all of the key information that's going to help me. And the very first step is, okay, you know, when is this due by? A month? Cool. You know, we have a month to work on it. I look at my schedule. Well, this month, that month, you know, figure out where it's going to fit. So then now my schedule is very, very steady. Boom, 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 boom. And yeah, right now, I'm booked up until July. I'm booked up until July doing different projects and different stuff. But I have ample time to do each thing. So I'm giving each project its own time. So once I have that all laid out, then we can figure out, you know, we move on to the next step. So we have all the scheduling down. And the first step for doing a logo design is I create sketches, like, you know, real small sketches, just like this one. If you're watching on YouTube, just quick sketches of ideas, shapes, um, maybe styles or different things, all of the stuff that goes into designing a logo. And once I have that, I'll send that to the client. They approve or make changes or whatever, and then we move on to the next stage of production. So that would be refining that sketch. It's like, okay, I like this one here. I like this one here. What can we do with this? And then we just go from there. So once you have something, once you have something laid out, you're pretty much golden from that part, right? So yeah, you just move on to the next natural progression. So what would be the next step? You refine these shapes. You start incorporating color. You start, adding different things, and same thing, basically, rinse and repeat, right? So you would send these to the client, and what works, what doesn't work, so on and so forth, until the project is done. And that's it. It's as simple as as that. So when you look at things from that perspective, really it's not that hard, right? It's not that hard to stay in line, to stay in focus on what it is that you want to do. So that is pretty much it. So why do people, if you go step by step, then why do people struggle so much? What is happening? Is it just they're not focusing, or like what's happening? What's happening? If the system is so simple, step 1, step 2, step 3, what's happening? And that's where it's production. You have to know that there is a process, and if you follow that process, then you're good to go. And I think that is where people, that's from the beginning, it's like, okay, it's all set. Stage 1 done. I think somewhere between 2, 3, and 4. Let's say 4 is the deadline. You squirrel yourself, or people tend to get lost within that process, and that is what you have to watch for. So that's what you have to watch for. The same way I have to focus on what it is that I'm saying, I have to draw here on Noodle Doodle, and it's very easy for my mind to just go somewhere else, right? To just sit here and doodle, and oh yeah, that's right, I'm talking to people. And that happens. And if you're doing YouTube videos or whatnot, yeah, that's something that you have to take into consideration. You have to watch for that sort of stuff, and it becomes part of your production. It becomes part of your pipeline. You become very, very comfortable just speaking to nothing, because right now I'm just speaking to a camera, but really I'm speaking to all of you. And that all has to play a part, right? But yeah, it's exactly that. Like, don't get lost in what you're doing. If you have a process, see that process through. Follow that process all the way through, and that's gonna help you out. That's gonna make you good. It's gonna help you out, because you don't want to get lost in that sort of stuff, right? You want to be successful. So so yeah, just keep that in mind. There's a lot of, let's say you get a design job somewhere. They're gonna have deadlines. They're gonna have a production schedule. They're gonna have all of these things, and you may not be used to it. For you, it may be just like, hey, you know what? I just want to draw. I just want to do this. I just want to do that. But, you got this opportunity. You don't want to mess it up, right? Everything has a schedule. Everything has a production. So the better you are at that, the more proficient you are at that, the the better things will go for you. So, like I said, for me, I have it's like, uh, it's it's this schedule that I follow to the T, regardless of anything. It's like, yep, I have, Monday I could work on this project. Tuesday I'm at the gym. Wednesday I could either go back to that project or work on a different project, depending on timelines, depending on deadlines and all this stuff, right? So I got Tuesday gym. Wednesday I work on something, and then Thursday I'm back at the gym because I work. I work and then go to the gym, and by the time I get here, it's late, unless there's something that has to be done, right? Then I'll switch it up. But that, and so on and so forth. Friday night I do the live stream for 1 hour. Saturday I work on things that I need to work on, in the house and laundry and everything else that gets in the way that needs to be done. And then Sunday, noodle doodle, and we keep going from there, and so on and so forth. So that's my schedule. That's what I do. That's my that's how I balance all my time. And it's crazy because I'm extremely busy. I'm always doing something. There's always something going on. But I have time to do it all. I have time to do it all. And it's so weird how that works. And, it's all a production. You are producing, whatever it is you want to produce. But that's the way it gets done. So I always hear people that say, oh, I would love to do this, I would love to do that, only if I had the time to do it. And that is, I don't know, it kind of like, what? Have you seen my schedule? You have time, you can do it. Like, I don't really, and perhaps it's just me. Of course, this is my opinion. You can, shred me to pieces for it. I don't mind. But to me, I kind of feel like you do have time. So you do have time. So is it a matter of you have time, but you're making excuses, or you don't really want to do what it is that you're setting out to do? Like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. You always hear a lot of people like, oh man, you know what? I would love to build, I don't know. I would love to build and race drones, like RC drones or whatnot, if I had time. It's like, you have time. You have time, dude. It's like, make it happen. And of course, yeah, sometimes you have to do that. You have to make time. You have to set aside that time. So that is the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Like, I have all of this time because I made that time. And of course, I have a family, so I have to balance all of that out. I have to spend time with my wife. I have to help the kids. I have to, make dinner, help make dinner or whatever, clean this up, clean that up, oil changes, whatever things in life happen, fix a cabinet or change this out, change that out. Yeah, I have all of those things, just like everybody else. But my saving grace is the fact that I could balance it all out. I could schedule it all out. Just this morning, my wife and I, we were talking about cleaning the fence. Like, our fence in the backyard, it has where we cut the grass. Some of the grass has, basically gone on the fence. And if you have a PVC fence, you know what that means. Um, Basically, you have to kind of get some of the gunk and dirt and stuff off the fence so it looks nice. And you know, we sat here and said, okay, well, hey, let's do this next Saturday. So there it is. We just planned for it, right? Next Saturday. That's what we're doing. We're cleaning the fence. So we made time for it. We made time. And that's the key. So whenever, whenever you're in that situation and you say, well, I don't have time, or I wish I had more time to do this, I wish I had more time to do that, that's what it is. It's like you have to make that time. You have to make that commitment and kind of get it all where you want it to be, because if not, then what are you doing? You're just kind of spinning your wheels and not getting anything done. And so going back to what I was talking about with artwork, that's all it is. It's just managing your time, making sure that your clients have everything. There is a production, there's a code or key to follow, and you have to stick to it. You have to stick to it. Like, there's a lot of times where some of my friends are like, hey, let's go eat here, let's go do this, let's go do that. I'm like, when? Nah, can't do it. But there is, at the same time, a time where I say, yeah, we could do it. And that's only because of my commitments to my clients and stuff like that. I don't ever want to keep anybody waiting. So I don't ever want to say yes to something if I'm not going to commit to it, if I'm not going to stick to it. And at the same time, I don't want somebody to hire me and I just let it fall to the wayside, or whatever the case may be. I don't ever want that to happen. I want everybody to be happy, to say, yeah, this is good. And that's something you have to be very cautious of. And for me, I see it all the time. Part of it is time management. I see it all the time. You get on the highway, you got that one dude, he's doing like 1,000,000 miles an hour. And I say dude, but whatever. Person. They're doing 1,000,000 miles an hour, they're going in and out, boom, 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 they're cutting this person off, cutting that person off. And it's like, okay, does that person have an emergency? Like, what's going on? Nope, just late for work. Late for work because I wanted to sleep in, and I gotta be at work in 10 minutes. But it's like, dude, like, why are you doing that to yourself? Why are you creating so much added stress for no reason at all? Like, why would you do that? I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. Well, you do have time. You're just using it poorly. You're using it poorly. And of course, I get it. Nobody wants to be at work. Nobody wants to wake up early for work, for sure. But at the same time, it's like, if you want these things to go your way, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. You're going to have to wake up a little bit early, get where you need to be, so on and so forth. And again, it's like, that's all part of time management, project management, work schedules, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. Pipeline, flow, workflow, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. There's the takeaway here, and what I'm trying to say is that there is a time and place for everything. Time and place for everything. And so the better you are at identifying those things, the better off you are. And things will work out. Things will be in your favor, and everything will be cool, For the same reason that I could just kind of, sit here and doodle in this little book and come up with something, funny or whatnot while I speak to you is part of that. You know, there's nothing special. I'm just a regular dude. I'm a regular dude. I have crazy ideas and, whatever. It's, no different than anybody else, right? No different than anybody else. I just happen to learn these little tips and tricks along the way that help me out with what I want to do. So I guess the takeaway here, what I'm hoping I kind of help you guys all out with, is that when you're doing things, or let's say you're an artist or whatnot, and you have all these different deadlines. Yeah, think about that. Think about, am I putting my best foot forward, and dedicating all the right time to all the right stuff, or am I just kind of squirreling myself? Am I giving my clients the best of my attention, all of my attention? Am I helping them out because you are getting paid for it? And that's the biggest thing for me. I always uh, I always think about that sort of stuff, especially I sell a lot of stuff on eBay, and when someone buys something from me, like boom, immediately I'm already packing it up and sending it out, because yeah, that person doesn't want to be waiting. And if it's something that I could do right away and fit it into my day to day, then it works. So before I go to work, I go to the post office, drop it off, I go to work, and that's it. It didn't cost me anything but a couple extra minutes. And so I do have the time and all that good stuff. And perhaps you're like, well, who cares? That's you. You do whatever you want to do. That's not gonna work for me. I get it. I totally understand. I'm just saying, for me, I found a way. So I hope you all find the way too. That's the way it goes. So yeah, for today, I kind of let my imagination run away with me. I just thought of this crazy looking monster eating footballs. Let's see if you can see it there on the camera. There it is. Little fun little monster just eating footballs, being that today is Super Bowl Sunday. Whoever you're rooting for, I just hope we have a good game. I do love sports, and that's all I'm looking for, right? Just gonna sit here in the house and watch football and eat chicken wings. I've been craving chicken wings. I don't know why, and my wife has too. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the store, do our groceries, which is what we normally do on Sundays. And we're gonna grab a bag of wings and just kind of sit here and, I don't know, keep getting healthy. Keep getting healthy eating chicken wings. But anyways, that's it. That is this episode of Noodle Doodle. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't take you through the wrong rabbit hole, and I was clear about what I was saying. Sometimes my mind is faster than my mouth, and I tend to say things kind of weird, or they come off kind of odd. But yeah, the main takeaway is, if you're in a situation of production, just keep in mind, your time management, and don't lose your head. Don't go crazy and like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Step by step. Slow and steady wins the race, right? Slow and steady wins the race. Well, there you have it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and moving into this week, I hope you have a wonderful week. I look forward to doing this every single week, so I can't wait till next Sunday. Can't wait till next Sunday, and we'll see. I'll probably talk about communication and pick another topic in my 300 drawing prompt book. But if there's any topic that you want me to talk about or kind of discuss, or just leave it in the form of a comment on this video, and we'll dissect it. We'll dissect it here together. All right, that's it. If you like this video, make sure to destroy the like button for me. It helps me out. And we'll see you next time.